Hey there. It is Friday, 22nd of February, I think. Days are kind of running. February's getting kind of long. Not enough sports left on TV, at least here in California. Down to hockey and basketball and things like that. Stuff I don't pay attention to. Well, much. So, have a lot of things to kind of get through today, so I'm going to have to talk fast. Pay attention. We'll run down like what happened this week in the Target program, and a few comments on some stuff going on the forum, and some news about the non-camp that might become known as the TG retreat, or conference, or seminar. We're still working on all that stuff, but we have dates, so stay tuned. Quickly, let me think, what happened this week? Start off the week with a little look at Donovan. Little review of Kenny's version of Mellow Yellow, and then stepped into this was really fun, and it's one of those things. I'm sorry it took me so long to do this. Leonard Cohen. Branched back out into the Leonard Cohen songbook with Suzanne. And then we took a look at the fly on the wall lesson with Lynn, who came back for more. And Lynn, I really appreciate the comment on your being not too self-conscious once you've reached the ripe old age that we all mostly are. So anyway, that was a really fun lesson. I really am happy when TG members can come out, make a trip out to California, and can spend a little time with them. It's great to get to know some of you personally. So let's see. Definitely on a little Tracy Chapman kick, as you probably figured out, so there will be a few more of her things coming up. And I think if you've seen that lesson on Baby Can I Hold You, this course was spurred on by one of my students who has been only playing for about a year or so, and she wanted to work on some songs that were kind of difficult, but we found ways to simplify them and make them sound really good. And she's coming a long way. I can't quite get her on camera yet, but Cindy, if you're watching, that one's for you. And then a look at Kevin working on Jerry Garcia's tune "Been All Around the World," and had a lot of fun working with Kevin. There's a lot more progress coming up. His goal is to be able to sit down with his buddies at a camp out kind of thing, campfire, and play along. So we're working on that. I'll keep you posted. This is going to be like our reality show. What's happening with Kevin on his path towards camping at Big Sur with his high school buddies, and being able to play along with things like a lot of the tunes that he's looked at over the years or that he's brought to me have been really fun. The Zac Brown tunes and the Medicine Show, the Old Crow Medicine Show tune, the Wagon Wheel. Anyway, okay, so that's what was going on there. Let me see. We got a couple of comments. We of course appreciate all the everything, all the suggestions people make. As you know, we kind of react to them quickly, and we were trying to get to organize the all lessons page. Sorry, people are a little bit unhappy with it. We could have less lessons and make it much easier, but we're not going that direction. Don't worry. So, yeah, we've got the mice in the basement are working hard on keeping the getting that thing rolling and making it more useful. So, interesting comments on some of the top requested songs. And we'll get to them all. You know, it's just one of those things where I'm not sure I'm ready to knock off the #1 song yet. Now there's going to be such high demands. By the way, so I've started the lesson on "You've Got a Friend" about 5 times, and I keep getting sidetracked with something new and exciting. Don't know if that one's going to happen yet or not, and let's see who can spot that one. Anyhow, it'll happen. rest assured. Had a couple other things I want to talk about. One is really the stories on the Brushes with Fame have been really cool, and that sort of leads me into one that I remember very vividly and very nervously. One of the times I saw John Renbourn, who, as if you know, many of you know who, many of you that know a lot about me, John is the absolute biggest influence in my whole musical life, and maybe a lot of people don't know that because it's been a long time since I've talked about him. But if you don't know much about John Renbourn, you gotta track down some of his stuff. English guitar player, lives in Scotland now. That was early force on the fingerstyle scene that started in London in the early '60s with Davy Graham, Bert Jansch, and not much later, Al Stewart, Paul Simon, Bob Dylan. All those guys were there in the early '60s. Anyway, so I was off. Saw him. He's doing a show with Jackie McShee, who was the singer from Pentangle, at what was it called, the Great American Music Hall in San Francisco, and which is kind of in a seedy part of town, but there's a great Scottish pub right around the corner, the Edinburgh Castle. So if you're ever on O'Farrell in San Francisco and looking for fish and chips and darts, check out the Edinburgh Castle. It's actually on Geary, which is a block over. But okay. This story's turned out to be too long. I didn't mean to get this far into it. But as I was parking and heading in, oh, maybe it was after the show. The show was spectacular, and we kind of hung around for a little while and just chatting with other people and stuff. And John and Jackie ended up walking past us, John with his guitar, and he's heading up the hill. And I just sort of froze. It's like, I'm thinking, oh my God, there he is. What am I going to say? You know, great show, John. You know, anyway, I saw somebody else's sentiments about that it's like, how can you it's hard to have a pleasant an intelligent conversation, I guess, with somebody that you don't really know, but you know from afar, from admiring and all that other stuff. Well, anyway, many years later, this leads me to the second set on the forum. If somebody had asked me 15 years ago who I would most like to meet, the answer would have been John Renbourn. And a few years later, well, now about 15 years ago, that happened once I realized that, hey, the guy does workshops for guitar players, and we hired him to put on a workshop for like 10 of my students, and we decided actually to do them for two nights, and we tacked it onto a little tour he was doing here in November of 1998, and or maybe September, and he this is great. He's going to be a prisoner here, and I'm going to get to like meet him and talk with him. And I was nervous as heck. You know what? I'll finish this story like maybe next week as to how the meeting, what really happened. But the gist of it is that I was again very nervous about talking to him at first, except that I'd hired him to come entertain my students, and he did, and I was not even sure what I was going to say to him when I knew he was waiting for me in a hotel lobby just down the street from our store, and walked in shaking, sweating probably, and turned out he's one of the nicest guys I ever met. And to make a long story short, by the end of the couple days that he was here, we'd become buddies, and he had agreed to do a concert with me, and I've now played with him a few times. So anyway, I am lucky enough to be able to say that person I most wanted to meet in the world. Now this is just like in the professional world. I haven't branched out into the rest of the stuff yet, but the musician I most wanted to meet was John Renbourn, and it happened. So I can die happy for many reasons. Okay, last piece of news is we are now getting some firm plans in place. I can't tell you too much about it yet, except it will be the weekend of September 19th, Thursday through Sunday, the 22nd, in a beautiful little conference center here in the Santa Cruz Mountains, about an hour from the San Jose airport. So, bit of a windy drive for a while, but we're working on all kinds of ways to get people there. So, more info to follow over the next couple of weeks. Some of the more specifics as we get some of the other details around, but wanted to make sure to get you the dates at least first. So anybody that's thinking about coming, if there's a way you can get to San Jose and Santa Cruz Mountains on hopefully by Thursday the 19th, we'll probably start a little bit of stuff in the afternoon, or early evening at least. And probably wrap it up Sunday, I guess that would be the 22nd. I think 19 would be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yeah. So roughly about 3 days in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and from Thursday night to Sunday. So it's not 1,000, well, it's not 100% written in stone yet, but right now it's looking like there was a 98% chance of that, and I will try to confirm it next week. Okay, that is enough chit chat for today. Let's see, talked about everything I wanted to, I think. Okay, hope to be back next week, which I think must be March 1st. Yep, we'll talk to you then.